Life has a strange way of teaching us lessons. The more you try to control every tiny detail, the outcomes, the timing, the way people respond, the more frustrated and exhausted you become. You plan your life down to the smallest steps, thinking that if you just push harder, things will finally fall into place. But what if the opposite is true? What if the moment you stop grasping and start trusting, everything begins to flow effortlessly? The Stoics mastered this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius understood that struggling against things beyond our control only leads to suffering. The harder you grip, the less you hold. This isn't about giving up. It's about living with true confidence and a sense of calm certainty. Stick until the end, and you will walk away with a completely different perspective on how to get what you want in life without chasing it desperately. You are drowning in a sea of your own expectations. Stop fighting reality. Have you ever noticed that the more you obsessively micromanage every outcome, the more life seems to sabotage your efforts? You plan the perfect career path. You script every word of a conversation. You try to force a relationship into a specific shape. And yet, all you feel is a crushing weight of anxiety and exhaustion. This is the control paradox. The harder you fight to bend reality to your will, the more reality breaks you. The Stoics identified this fatal flaw 2 millennia ago. Epictetus taught that we are like dogs, tied to a moving cart. We can either trot along with the cart, finding our own rhythm, or we can be dragged, kicking and screaming, choking on the very leash we refuse to acknowledge. Most of you are currently being dragged. You waste nearly all of your cognitive bandwidth on the uncontrollables, the economy, your boss's mood, and the inevitable passage of time. You are not a god. Stop trying to command the tides. When you release the need to control, you don't lose power. You reclaim it. By narrowing your focus strictly to your internal fortress, your judgments, your intentions, and your immediate actions, you become unshakable. Letting go is not passivity. It is a strategic withdrawal from a battle you were never meant to win, so you can dominate the one that actually matters. The war inside your own mind, your need for control, is a public confession of your own fragility. Drop the leash, now. Rule 2. Cold purpose versus desperate chaos. Have you ever noticed that the more you obsessively micromanage every outcome, the more life seems to sabotage your efforts? You plan the perfect career path. You script every word of a conversation. You try to force a relationship into a specific shape. And yet, all you feel is a crushing weight of anxiety and exhaustion. This is the control paradox. The harder you fight to bend reality to your will, the more reality breaks you. The Stoics identified this fatal flaw 2 millennia ago. Epictetus taught that we are like dogs, tied to a moving cart. We can either trot along with the cart, finding our own rhythm, or we can be dragged, kicking and screaming, choking on the very leash we refuse to acknowledge. Most of you are currently being dragged. You waste nearly all of your cognitive bandwidth on the uncontrollables, the economy, your boss's mood, and the inevitable passage of time. You are not a god. Stop trying to command the tides. When you release the need to control, you don't lose power. You reclaim it. By narrowing your focus strictly to your internal fortress, your judgments, your intentions, and your immediate actions, you become unshakable. Letting go is not passivity. It is a strategic withdrawal from a battle you were never meant to win, so you can dominate the one that actually matters. The war inside your own mind, your need for control, is a public confession of your own fragility. drop the leash. Now, Rule 3. The architect's mindset. Life does not bargain. It throws challenges at you without warning, without apology, and often with brutal timing. Some days, you feel like a god. Other days, it feels like the entire world has conspired to ensure your total collapse. But here is the brutal reality. The difference between the man who breaks under pressure and the man who thrives in chaos is not luck. It is his internal architecture. Your mindset is the operating system of your existence. If you don't learn to program it with iron discipline, the world will program it for you. With fear, with doubt, and with mediocrity. You cannot control the market, the betrayal of a partner, or the sudden strikes of fate. But you possess absolute sovereignty over one thing: your judgment. This is the only territory you truly own in this universe. The obstacle is not in your way. The obstacle is the way. Every setback you encounter is simply a heavy weight in the gym of the soul. If you never push against resistance, your character remains soft, fragile, and easily broken. Mastering your mindset is a daily, relentless audit of your internal dialogue. Are you feeding yourself the poison of "why me," or are you forging the steel of "try me"? The world outside may be in flames, but inside your fortress, there is only cold, calculated clarity. When you command your perception, you don't just survive the storm. You become the calm at its center. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a victim of your own undisciplined and lazy thoughts. Architect your inner world, or be crushed by the outer one. Rule 4. Detachment as a superpower. We spend the overwhelming majority of our waking hours obsessing over results that are not, and will never be, entirely within our grasp. We lose sleep waiting for a job offer, we suffocate our relationships, and we paralyze our creative potential. We have been sold a lie, the lie that if we just work a little harder, we can force reality to bend. But the truth is far more brutal. The more you cling, the more you signal that you are terrified. The Stoics called this the fever of the soul. The moment your happiness depends on something you cannot control, you have handed the remote control of your peace to a world that is indifferent to your suffering. You have chosen to be a slave. Attachment is the leash by which the world drags you around. Consider the Stoic Archer. He chooses the bow, he sharpens the arrow, he aims with perfect focus. But the microsecond that arrow leaves the string, it is no longer his. The wind, the target, the world, they take over. The Stoic Archer finds his victory in the aiming, not the hitting. When you detach from the outcome, you don't lose your edge. You sharpen it. You become dangerous because you are not fighting your own anxiety. What are you holding on to so tightly that it's making you weak? When you demand that life goes your way, you create resistance. But when you detach, when you say, "I will give my absolute best," and then, "I will accept whatever happens," the resistance vanishes. You become like water. Detachment is the ultimate competitive advantage. While everyone else is spiraling, you remain still. You are not defined by your wins, and you are not destroyed by your losses. Your obsession with the result is the very reason you keep failing to achieve it. Kill the desire to control the wind. Just master the aim. Rule 5. The rhythm of the universe. Patience is perhaps the most difficult virtue to practice in an age defined by the cult of instant gratification. We live in a civilization that has declared war on waiting. We demand high-speed internet, instant food, and overnight. Success, we have been sold a lie. The lie that if we aren't seeing immediate evidence, we must be failing. But the brutal truth is, your ego does not hold the stopwatch of the universe. Life moves according to a deeper, unshakable rhythm. The Stoics called this the logos. When you try to force life to move faster, you are not being efficient. You are being arrogant. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly, not a grape, not a fig. If you try to force the fruit, it rots." Forced success is just a high-speed road to decay. You cannot command the harvest if you are too busy. Cursing the winter. We are obsessed with the overnight success myth. We see the highlight reels, and we feel inadequate because we are still in the planting phase. But every master was once an apprentice who had the discipline to stay in the shadows while their skills matured. This period of waiting is not dead time. It is when your roots grow deep enough to support the weight of the future. The universe is not denying you. It is preparing you. Stoicism is the art of aligning your will with the grain of reality. This is not passivity. It is active trust. Do the work with absolute intensity in the present moment. And then have the supreme, God-like confidence to let time do its job. When you stop fighting the clock, you stop leaking energy. You realize that being late by society's standards is often being on time by the standards of destiny. Your anxiety about the timing of your success is a public admission that you do not trust your own work. Stop rushing the art. Master the moment. Rule 6, the abundance frequency. Most of humanity operates from a frequency of profound, agonizing lack. They wake up and immediately audit what is missing: money, status, love, power. This is the scarcity mindset. It is the ultimate psychological prison. When you act from a place of needing something, you are broadcasting that you are incomplete. And because reality functions like a mirror, it reflects that insufficiency back to you. You become the beggar, chasing a ghost. The more desperately you want it, the further it moves away. The Stoics discovered a secret. Abundance is not a destination. It is a frequency you tune into. It begins with the bone-deep realization that your character is the only asset that matters. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. True wealth is the death of desire. He who is content with nothing possesses everything the world has to offer." When you stand still in your own worth, the world begins to gravitate toward you. Why? Because you are the only thing that isn't moving with the wind of desperation. In business, the one who needs the deal the least has the most leverage. In life, the one who is comfortable being alone is the most attractive. Power, money, and influence are like shadows. If you chase them, they run. If you walk toward your purpose, they have no choice but to follow. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you are a hollow vessel of need, you will attract ghosts. If you are a powerhouse of purpose, you will attract empires. Your constant need for more is the very prison cell that keeps you poor, weak, and easily manipulated. Stop begging the world for scraps. Start radiating sovereignty. Rule 7. The shield of invincibility / Amor Fati. You have built your silence. You have secured your internal fortress. You have practiced the art of detachment and tuned your heart to the rhythm of the universe. But now, the final test arrives. Life will not always give you a fair fight. There will be moments when everything you constructed is burned to the ground. This is where most men break. But this is the exact moment where the Stoic becomes invincible. The final rule is not just about tolerating your fate, it is about loving it. This is Amor Fati, the shield of invincibility. To love your fate is to realize a profound truth. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is an accident. Every setback, every scar, was a necessary ingredient. The architect does not waste energy wishing for things to be different. Wishing for a different reality is a form of self-poisoning. Instead, adopt the mindset of the fire, a blazing fire, makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. If life gives you fire, use it to temper your steel. You do not just endure the storm, you become the storm. Do not seek for things to happen as you wish. Wish for them to happen as they do. This is the ultimate psychological flip. When you embrace Amor Fati, you can never be defeated. Every failure is immediately converted into raw material. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And start asking, "How can I weaponize this?" This shift makes you dangerous. It makes you unmanipulatable. You are now invincible, not because you are shielded from pain, but because you have lost the capacity to be crushed by it. Your resistance to reality is the only thing truly causing your suffering. Stop fighting the inevitable and start using it as fuel. Love your fate, or be consumed by it. The architecture is complete. The shield is forged. Now, go into the arena and test your mettle. The blueprint is now etched into your mind. You have the silence. You have the fortress. You have the shield. The world is no longer a place that happens to you. It is a canvas, waiting for your command. But knowledge without action is the greatest form of self-betrayal. You can watch 1,000 videos, but if you do not step into the arena, you are still just a spectator in your own life. The time for seeking is over. The time for being is here. The world does not need more talkers. It needs architects of will. Go out and face the fire. Embrace the struggle. Love the fate that chooses you. Do not wait for a better moment. Seize this one. The silence of the superior man is not an empty space. It is the sound of absolute certainty. If you leave this video and change nothing, you have wasted your time and insulted your potential. Stop scrolling. Start architecting your destiny. Comment "invincible" to seal your commitment.